it's just
Oh, hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to Love Us Anyway, the space where we lead with love, we sit with the real, and honor the sacred beauty of transformation, one breath at a time. And I'm your host, Fontashia, and today we're not doing this alone. I have my beautiful, amazing friend, Donna Rae. Yeah, and we're gonna dive into something we all face, but don't always talk about, and maybe we don't talk about it out loud. Rejection. Um, so yeah, I'm just gonna settle there. And for those who are watching, I just came from a workout, yay for me. And so I'm looking like I'm looking, but I'm here and we're here to we're here to connect and chat a bit. Zana, how you feel about rejection?
oh my goodness. I have a situation that I'm still processing that feels less tender than it did when it happened 8 months ago.
Okay.
And that rejection felt like a gut punch. It was
Mm,
unexpected and it hurt bad.
yeah.
And and I got a lot of coaching around it. And so I'm finally starting to come to a place where rejection is like information.
Mm,
And then I heard like, and I didn't do any research, but I heard the statistic that expect about 30% of rejection in your life.
okay.
And so that was comforting. Um, because when I think about work or my personal life, 30% of people are going to reject me for whatever the
Mm,
reason.
right.
And there is really no harm in that.
Hmm.
And then it's a feeling. But for me, in this situation, I'm still kind of a little bit experiencing. Um, I mean, that feeling, I could just feel it all across my body, in my head, in my throat. Um, so I know that it's real.
Yeah.
And just with time, which always sounds like a cliche to me, give it some time. And that's the truth, that it's
Yeah.
starting to subside.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a lot of appreciation around your share and um just normalizing the fact that rejection is something that we all go through, but also that it can feel really isolating in the moment,
Mm.
and whether or not you mentioned if it's a job like work or a relationship that didn't work out or just not being chosen for something or just feeling unseen, it stings a lot. It stings a lot. And just to hear you say like 30% of the time will probably be rejected, I don't know. For some reason, that number just sounds big. But then also, if we're not careful, we can allow rejection to shape, how we see ourselves. Like I'm just thinking about times where rejection settled in for me, and in my mind, I'm like, well, is that who I am? Or
Mm.
um, whatever may have happened or transpired, is that why? Like, kind of really just starting to like shape my mind around, well, the reasons why and trying to figure out. And really, it it's crazy how a no can echo louder than a dozen yeses. So whether or not that is a job, like getting a no to a job versus all of the yeses that we may receive, or getting a no in a relationship, over how many people are actually probably seeking us in relationship and we don't even know yet, right? um, but then rejection has a way of like, I guess, poking at our self-worth, especially if we tie it to our value to being accepted in any capacity. But
And
one,
that's why I think it's so important to work with it. And then
yeah,
just when I heard that rejection is information, and I'll just use it now in the context of business, right? So if
yeah,
you're selling something, right, and you pitch to 100 people, you
Mhm.
really got to expect that you're going to get 99 no's.
Right. Right.
And then the information piece is that I've tried it once, and then that didn't work. So now I'm fine tuning it. I try it again. I'm tweaking this, right? And so each time, those 99 times I've pitched, then I keep um, perfecting my message.
Mm.
So I can get those 99 no's. And when I get that one yes, then now I kind of have a formula of what works.
Right.
So now if I kind of shift that to personal, something that happens in my personal life, that rejection stings
Mhm.
um, just differently. And
Yeah.
then for me, there was kind of a grief process around that.
Yeah.
Grieving who I am, that particular person or that instance. I'm grieving what could have.
Mhm.
Right. So when I think of it like as in a grieving process, I want to hold tight to myself even more. And I think,
Mhm.
us talking about it on Love Us Anyways really kind of shines the light on that part of the grief process of really
Yeah.
turning toward myself, um, doing even more practices. And I use that
Mhm.
word loosely, but just be with myself, like even in a deeper way.
Yeah.
Cheat, uh, tending to myself tenderly.
Yeah. Yeah. Rejection is an experience. And when I hear you speak even to just like the relationship aspect of it, whether or not it's a relationship that is, the season, the chapter is closed and there's a little bit of that those icky feelings, but then there's like transformation within that, right? Like you said, there's a grieving process. There's a there's so many different phases that we may experience or go through after that piece of rejection, especially in relationship with folks. And being able to kind of piece it together. But one thing that I've learned and still learning is that any form of rejection, especially when in relationship, because that's when it really, really hits home sometimes, I feel like for me. And work too, right? Because even with the wellness center, getting a whole bunch of no's, whatever, yeses will come, and I believe that. But even in relationship, just the rejection, knowing that it doesn't define me, it's an experience, not my identity.
Yes.
And even though it may feel personal to me, um, if it often says a little bit more about maybe the timing, maybe the alignment, um, or maybe even someone from the view from someone else's lens that it doesn't really match my value or, something along those lines. And just and saying that rejection is sometimes redirection, right?
Yes.
Sometimes it's redirection. It's like if that door had opened, we might have walked into something we weren't truly ready for, or that wasn't ready for us. And I'm speaking to like
Ooh.
some people are not ready for us, or maybe this season is not, or that season wasn't the season that it was supposed to, and it was supposed to happen the way that it was supposed to. But you know, it's more of like a redirection. Okay, I was rejected. Now I get to sit with that, and like you said, find different ways to kind of provide a little bit more self care, a little bit more love me anyway, loving us anyway, and yeah, just redirecting my path a bit, pivoting just a little bit.
And when you said transformation, that gave me chills also,
Mm,
because it's reminding me how I'm continuing to grow and to evolve and to be more of who I am.
hmm.
And there's really no failure.
Yeah,
There's only growth, there's only learning, there's only um, showing up more connected to myself.
yeah. I love that. And it's about giving ourselves the grace to grieve whatever we hoped for and still believe in ourselves and our worth, And my favorite affirmation, I am enough. And it means not shrinking or hustling for approval, but really sitting with the truth that we are enough just as we are, period. You know? And I say to anybody listening or watching who's been feeling the sting, as we said a few times, of rejection, romantic, professional, personal. Hopefully, this is like a gentle reminder that you are worthy, you are whole, you are enough, and you are still loved, you know? And wondering, Donna, has any, I heard you mention earlier about like supporting yourself and practicing. What do you feel like supports you in that way when it comes to like maybe your mindfulness practice or any other practice that you've observed over the times, when there were these feelings of rejection? Like what was most supportive for you?
I love this question. Thank you for asking. For me, it was just kind of replaying some of those moments and blessing it.
Mm,
Replaying some of those moments and blessing the situation, that person, myself. I was extra, extra um, kind to myself.
yeah.
And then so I had some days of that. Then I got back to some of the other practices of walking, of meditating, of resting more,
Hmm.
some of those things that I can release some of that beating myself up.
Yeah.
And it was incremental. It was just so small, but then it just kind of naturally came to the surface.
Yeah.
I stopped hiding from the feelings.
That's good. That's good. Because sometimes we try to mask them a bit or shove them down deep so that we don't have to feel it or experience whatever the transitional process is that we're going through. And yeah, just having that noticing and awareness and saying, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I don't have to do that because I'm allowed to feel whatever I'm feeling and do whatever I'm doing in this moment, right? And be who I'm being. And I love that. And I know for me, outside of affirmations, like even the loving kindness meditation, repeating the phrases like, may I be safe, may I be healthy, may I find peace, may I find joy, may I be loved as I am. You know, it kind of really just shifts the energy, especially when I'm spiraling into doubt because I'm human in my perfectly imperfect body and doubt creeps up, especially during the rejection periods. And so, just the practice of like even like self-talk, you know, when it creeps in, literally just kind of talking to myself, like as if I would talk to you, Donna, or any of my
Absolutely.
other friends. People say that all the time. They're like, you do all of this work and you say all of these things, and you need to make sure that you're pouring into yourself in the same way when you're experiencing life as it happens. And speaking to myself as I would a dear friend. You know, maybe you didn't get that thing or that relationship didn't work out, but that doesn't mean you're not an incredible person. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean that you're not available or open to be loved. That doesn't mean that you are not seen. And just keep going, keep striving to be the best you, keep growing, keep on the journey. And all of those things don't define you at all. The rejection does not define you, it helps you actually, right? And the dialogue that I have with myself kind of sets the tone on how I bounce back. And I got to keep doing it, keep saying it, keep reminding myself when I feel like I'm in a sunken place, you know?
Yes. And I like what you said, allow yourself the time and space to be where you are, and then allow some of that bounce to happen,
Yeah.
right? It might not be within a day, a week, a month, a year, whatever it is, but allow yourself to continue to have some of that springiness.
Mm, yeah.
Don't let it consume you,
Right.
or only for a short period of time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I understand that, and it's going to happen.
Yeah.
and know that there's going to be some relief. There's going to be light. There's going to be a friend, right? Something is going to shift. Just hold tight to yourself.
Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. And you know what? Just the invitation for everybody else, honoring what hurt and don't let
Yeah.
it silence your hope, right? So keep showing up for yourself, hold tight, like Donna said. And even when others don't, still show up for yourself. Rejection may feel like an ending, but it can also be the beginning of something new, something better, something fresh, right? And you're not alone. You're not alone. You're seen, you're loved, and we're cheering for your healing. We're cheering for your journey. And this is why we love us, loving you, loving me anyway. I love that. I love that.
Thank you, Fontasia.
Thank you, Donna. And I guess that's it for today's episode of Love Us Anyway. If this is a conversation that spoke to you, share it with a friend who might need to hear it too. Subscribe, leave a comment, and just meet us back here next time. And so thank you, Donna, for sharing this space. I love you.
I love
And
you too.
we love all of y'all. Until next time. Later.